This is Pet Life Radio. Let's talk pets.
Welcome to the Whisker Report. We're a new podcast dedicated to helping anyone in the pet industry, whether you're in animal welfare or a for-profit pet company, get some PR and buzz for your nonprofit or business. Hello, everyone. I'm Mary Tan, one of the hosts of the show, along with my co-host, Alexane Ricard, a cat rescuer and public relations professional who hails from France, but now lives in the lovely city of Vancouver. Bonjour, Alex.
Bonjour tout le monde. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. It's the first day of spring today. Doesn't feel like it in Vancouver, but it's okay. Hey, Mark. We're here with our producer, Mark Winter of Pet Life Radio, who gets us to you each and every week. Hey, Mark, how are you?
I'm good, and it's it's spring here all year long. I'm in South Florida, so it is the first day of spring, but no change here.
Yeah, is it the day you're gonna clean all of your closet and what do you need to do in spring? I think you need to get rid of the.
I'm getting ready to go to Global. That's what we do in Global Pet Expo.
That's already very busy.
That's next.
Yes.
Mary, any fun things gonna be there?
Yes. Oh my goodness. So I'm excited to see Mark. I get to see Mark like once a year at Global Pet Expo, it is one of the biggest pet product trade shows in the world. This one is the biggest one that attracts an international crowd. It's actually Super Zoo is the other big one, but this one has an international crowd, which is why it's called Global Pet Expo. We have some fabulous clients there, Boss Nation, Jaffe's Bone Broth, and the guy who runs Jaffe's makes it all in his kitchen. Like every single batch, he's like constantly cooking. And then the other super fun thing is Pet Cakes, the birthday cake for cat and dogs, super healthy product. She's having her 15th birthday party there. There's going to be a party every day. Cupcakes for humans and birthday cake for all the cats and dogs who are there. And then I have 2 presentations that I'm giving on PR. So I'm looking forward to this and looking forward to hanging out with everybody like Mark and his wife, Michelle, and all the super fun people that we only get to see once a year, Yeah. So, but anyways, we're so honored to be part of Mark's Pet Life Radio Network. And what we want to tell you is that you can do PR for yourself. Of course, we'd love it if you hired us, but we just know that is not, financially possible for a lot of startups and small rescues. So Alex, Mark, and I started this podcast to help you each and every week.
And today we're super lucky to have Deborah Cribbs from the Give Them 10 movement. Deborah is the mom of the famous Scooter, the neuter cat, who has inspired thousands and thousands of people to adopt and to sterilize cats. Deborah, thank you so much for joining us. We feel very grateful that you're here.
Merci. Thank you. And I'm happy to be here too.
Love that little French. Oh, we're so excited to hear more about you, Deborah. And I would like to start by asking you, how did you get involved in the cat world?
Well, that's a fun question. Thank you. So by day, I'm a banker. I manage money for wealthy people. And one of my clients died unexpectedly, left a foundation in my care along with my bank. And I manage this foundation for the bank. And it's a privilege and it's sizable. And so imagine a bunch of bankers who do math and logic things getting involved in animal welfare in Cincinnati, which is where we live. So that's where we started. And we're like, okay, what are we doing here? Well, the foundation is for the benefit of cats in Cincinnati. That's super specific. And it's way too much money to actually spend on that one thing, honestly. But because we're math people and we're fiduciaries, we want to spend the money wisely.
Yeah.
So we started looking at, okay, what's the problem here? The problem is cats are being killed in shelters. That affects cat welfare. We could buy every cat in Cincinnati a bed and a phone. But that's really not going to help the problem, is it?
No.
So I like to say that's what started my team and I And I love that you guys are talking about marketing, because something else we decided way back when, about a decade ago, is that we do want to help our local partners with some infrastructure funding for spay neuter, because that's the thing that we really think, well, we said it was the low hanging fruit. I like the pun.
Yeah.
Hanging fruit, but we think it's the low hanging fruit, the thing that we can make an impact on. So that's sort of where we started. But an important part of the work that we do is marketing, talking to the public. Because if you don't talk to the public and help create a culture shift in society, the way people view cats, we're just going to chase our tails and not get anywhere. So that's kind of the beginning.
And I think I've heard you mentioning a culture shift. Could you tell me more about that? Because I know you called it like a cat culture shift.
Well, we were really trying to be anthropologists, I guess. Why are cats being killed in shelters? Well, there are too many of them. Why are there too many of them? We could go down a rabbit hole, and there are many reasons, but why are there too many of them? Because the public hasn't really adopted spay neuter for what we call community cats, outdoor cats that are thriving and happy for whatever reason. And we really wanted to use the power of marketing, talking to the public, to shift the public's perception about whether having cats outside is a good or bad thing. We think that a healthy cat living well outside and cared for is fine. And I would argue, my team and I would argue, better than living in a shelter. So yeah, we have a really extensive marketing campaign that we've been doing for about a decade, talking to the public. And the way we measure success is the live release rate in the shelters that we work with. That's the percentage of cats that leave alive. So we really do have a concrete way of saying, yep, we've succeeded. And interestingly, when we started our work about a decade ago, the live release rate in Cincinnati was about 30-some%, but it was really bad data. It was probably worse. And we're in the high 90 percentile now. We're at like 96% right now. So we're really proud of that.
That's amazing. I can't believe it. So can you give us, not to pry into like getting into the nitty gritty, but tell us about your marketing campaign. Tell us what are the elements that you're using to, get the message out about TNR.
Well, I'm not a marketing professional, but I've been involved in this a lot. So I'll speak to it just from my perspective. We wanted, I hate, this sounds like a cliche, but we wanted to educate the public. And I think the first thing you got to do is build a brand for yourself. And our brand is kind of edgy, funny. So once you have your brand, whatever it may be, then there are all the outlets you can use to talk to the public. And I think it's interesting that a decade ago, the thing that probably was the most impactful was our TV ads, which we still run and are really popular. And I mean, they're very funny. But now everything is really pivoted to social, which I'm sure you guys know. So we still do some filming, but not only social, but TikTok, right? So that's Reels, and the Reels should not be professionally created. The Reels should be done on an iPhone vertically by non-professionals and look like that. So it's really interesting how it's morphed, but we've done every kind of part of marketing to answer your question: TV, radio. Now it's digital, mostly with social. We're big on Insta and TikTok and some Facebook still. But it's interesting how it's changed.
Okay, I have a question to go back to your brand. So you said your brand is edgy and funny, but how did you come up with, tell us more about your branding and how did you come up with that idea?
Well, okay.
Because you guys are from a banker world, right? So I'm just I want to get into your brand.
Well, we hired a marketing team. So I don't want to take credit for the super great work that our market team has done over the years. But I do have something that you might be interested in. During that time, it seemed like the only advertising for animal welfare was super sad. So let's show the damaged doggy or the damaged kitty. And it was Sarah McLachlan, the song In the Arms of Angels, I believe it was. And we always kind of look back to that. And we're like, people, I don't know. I think that makes people turn away because they're like, man, that is too depressing and too big of a problem for me to fix. So we're like, all right, how do we engage? Well, we engage with humor. And you got to admit, when you're talking about spay neuter as your thing, I mean, start thinking we're talking body parts, boys and girls. I mean, that's how it got edgy and funny right away.
I used to work in animal welfare as well as the PR manager, and you hit the nail on the head that the sad, depressing promotion doesn't work as well as humor. And so I know some rescues promote like neuter parties, and they have funny, super cute little t-shirts that say neuter is cuter.
Did you guys see for Valentine's Day? I saw a lot of rescues saying neuter your ex. Like, if you donate $10, we'll name the cat after your ex and we'll cut their balls. I thought that was funny.
That is very funny.
That's the best.
Just talking about neutering. We're a bunch of women, sorry, Mark, talking about neutering. It's funny. Start ATO. My boy is right here right now. He's hip, he's cool, he's neutered. But I don't know if he thought it was funny at the time.
Oh my gosh. We need to take a quick break, and we're going to be right back with Deborah.
You know the expression, cats have 9 lives. Well, what if you can give them one more? The Give Them 10 movement is on a mission to help give cats an extra life. How? With spay and neuter. Spaying or neutering your cat helps them live a longer, healthier life. And it helps control free-roaming cat populations too. Learn more about the benefits of spay and neuter and meet Scooter, the neutered cat, at GiveThem10.org. That's GiveThem10.org.
Let's Talk Pets on PetLifeRadio.com.
And we're back with Deborah Cribbs, who's going to tell us more about Scooter, the neuter cat.
Scooter, he's Scooter. He's neutered. He's the coolest cat in town. Hip spectacles, no testicles. Yeah, I won't sing the song, but we have a jingle that's very well known in the Cincinnati area. He's our cat mascot. He's our spokescat, our cat spokesperson. And as I said, Scooter's actually pretty well known. So we've done a good job of creating brand awareness.
Yeah.
He does speak for us, and any ads that we run that are digital or on the TV ads, anything, Scooter generally pops in. Maybe at the beginning, maybe at the end. Sometimes it's all about Scooter. But yeah, he's our spokescat, and he's an orange tabby.
Like Franklin.
Oh, yeah.
Mary's
Franklin's
kid.
my kitty. He's underneath my feet right now. Deborah, can you send us the link so everybody can see the jingle, and Mark will put it on the show page so everybody can take a look?
Sure, of course. I mean, I don't mind saying our another cleverness of our campaign. We call our campaign "Give Them 10." Cats have 9 lives. Give them 10. So our website is GiveThem10.org, and if you type in Scooter the neuter, just start it on YouTube. All the videos pop up, but my team will absolutely send you links.
Oh, that's so cool.
I think it was very smart to have a mascot, like to use Scooter as a mascot, because it's an element that keeps coming back and so people can refer to. So it's really well branded, and I have to say good job on that, because people can recognize Scooter and know that it's your campaign, and Scooter represents the neuter cat. So yeah, the fact that it keeps coming back is like the stability in the brand. So that's really good.
Yeah.
Wow.
But again, we have professionals doing it. And I will mention, we have Marmalade. She just got spayed, and she's Scooter's girlfriend. And No Balls Paul is Scooter's best friend. I mean, our social media is fun if you have any interest in cats. But this is a good point, you guys. So we have a lot of money at our disposal, no doubt about it. And we've hired professionals to work with us with our vision to do all of this, including PR. So there's all this work that we're doing, but there's also a PR element. I have been on TV a number of times with Scooter. We have a giant Scooter costume that some poor intern has to wear. It's very hot, I'm told. And he or she, Scooter, stands behind me on TV with some regularity. We're invited to come on morning shows and stuff like that, which is fun. But we've got a marketing team to do this. And as you said at the beginning, not everybody has that, right? So what we decided to do, we want Scooter to live in every city across the land because Scooter has a really important message to give everyone. We can't go on TV, radio, or social all around the country. That's just too much for us to do. But what we have started doing in the last year or so is offering licensing agreements for almost nothing. We have to charge something, but it's very small. If you qualify, if you are a rescue, if you are a 501c3, if you are a charity, you are a rescue, you are a municipal shelter, if you're in this world, and you would like to use any of our marketing, that includes billboards, social, our TV ads, any of it, we will license it to groups. And we've done more than a handful right now. Like we're in somewhere in Georgia, Louisiana, Kauai. There's something, Iowa. So we're kind of making our way around. When I go speaking at conferences, I talk about this and we generally get a bunch of inquiries after that. And we're not trying to make money. We have already spent money and continue to spend money developing these really great campaigns. But we're willing to give it to anybody who qualifies, and qualifying, you have to be basically a legit organization with some infrastructure and ability to manage this. But my team of marketing professionals will even, up to a certain point, be helpful in deploying the advertising strategy. So it's a really big deal, as you guys know, because you work in this world. Marketing campaigns are not cheap. We've got all the collateral materials. We're willing to offer it. You just got to be able to do it.
Right.
Shelters are really who we're after. But we're willing to talk to anybody who qualifies, and the qualifications are on our website as well.
Yeah, it's animal rescue is hard. I mean, there's so many cat rescues and TNR groups and even dog rescues that it's being run by one or two people, right? And they're a tiny group, and God bless all these people for doing this. But it's so hard to do marketing and rescue a cat or dog or hamster. And the same thing goes for our for-profit clients who are listening to this, to the pet store owner who is doing everything. They're stocking shelves, they're paying the bills, they're the HR, and they got to find a way to get people in the store, right? To pay all their employees. And so the struggle is real.
I absolutely understand that. And I love that you combine the for-profit business owners, especially small business owners. They wear every hat. These small rescues and sometimes a small municipal shelter, these people, they wear every hat. But I challenge all of us to kind of, again, culture shift here too, and change the paradigm a little bit, change the way we think about this. Yes, it's very important to rescue these cats. I want them rescued. Perhaps if the small groups would form coalitions, band together and become bigger groups, they would have some efficiencies and power. Now, I find that ego often gets involved in that, and that's why I'm challenging. I know you want to do good work, but if you want to do even better work, you have to have some power. So as I've looked at this as a business person, every area in the United States has some kind of municipal shelter. Now, they don't always have cat resources. It just depends. But there's a municipal shelter generally in most cities across the United States. And let's say, like you say, there are a bunch of little rescues doing really good work, doing the work of angels, no doubt. Wouldn't it be great if those rescues collaborated with the municipal shelters? Because that's actually where the killing is happening. That loud release rate's not a joke. That happens in municipal shelters, sometimes because they're poorly managed, but sometimes because they just got too many animals and they can't handle it. Help them. They're the ones doing the thing that none of us wants. So help them. And if they would collaborate and band together, they perhaps would be big enough organizations then to have a little bit more bandwidth so that they can do things like marketing and ask the public for help differently. So that's my soapbox for sure.
I do appreciate that at the minute I've seen that movement on social media a lot, that like small rescues are trying to help each other and support each other, which I think wasn't the case a couple years ago. But I've seen it as well, with saving lives. I've seen a lot of people like sharing our stories and supporting us, and we're trying to support them in return. And yeah, I feel like there's been a little shift in rescue where people understand that if we don't work all together, we're not going to be able to make it. We all need to support each other and help each other out. So yeah, I've been liking this.
Well, I like that too. Each rescue, they can say they're no kill because they only take who they want. But a municipal shelter, they have to take everybody. So again, they're the ones that need help.
I want to point that, Deborah, that's one of the no-kill term is a marketing term. So I used to work at a open admission shelter, and they would constantly get crucified. But you know what? Who's going to take that 3-legged dog found on the freeway at 2:00 in the morning on a Saturday, right? It's the municipal shelters that do. And they get an unfair rap. Now, here in Minnesota, where I am, it's a little different. There's a pretty good job of collaboration. The small rescues take the animals that don't thrive in shelter, and then the really highly adoptable ones that go quickly. But, it's a little different here. But I urge people, and even like the kitten lady has a YouTube video on why you shouldn't persecute and call people who work at open admission shelters killers, because I was actually one of those people, and I was constantly called that. And I think I'm a very compassionate person, especially towards cats, right? And they would just say, "Oh, you're just going to kill that dog." I'm like, no, 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 no. And it's a matter of resources, right? Are you going to put in $25,000 into that one elderly dog, or are you going to help 500 kittens, right? It's choices, and money is such an issue, which is why everybody needs to support their favorite rescue or shelter. And so now I'm getting on my soapbox, but I'm going to turn it back to Deborah because she's the guest.
Well, but I joined that soapbox. And I don't think it's fair when a municipal shelter, first of all, there are very humane reasons to euthanize an animal. We all know that. So when we look at our metrics, if we're in the high 90 percentile for live release rate, we've succeeded, because there are middle of the night dogs that have been hit by a car, and there's just not a good way to save them. We all acknowledge that. And I would say that most of the small percentage of cats that don't make it are neonate. So, super young babies. And frankly, another soapbox is don't kitten nap. Don't separate, as we head into kitten season in most of the country, don't separate kittens from their mama. They will be more healthy if they're with their mama. Help mama, feed mama. She'll take care of the kittens, and then you go get everybody fixed. That's how we take care of this problem. But I agree with you. And I did say our brand is edgy and humorous. So you will hear me occasionally use the word kill. And I admit that I've been told by some of our team, stop that. It's not cool anymore. It's not the old dog, new trick. It's that I do believe sometimes harsh language gets attention, but I very much agree with you that the municipal shelters, I'm not going to blame the employees. I may very well, though, guys, blame the leadership of a municipal shelter. It is not fair in any way to go on social media and call people who work there killers. That's ridiculous. Help them on names. Agreed.
Yeah. We need to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to talk to Deborah again.
Oh, sure. It's all fun and games until someone ends up in a cone. That's right. We're animals. Deal with it. Pet Life Radio. Live life unleashed.
Let's talk pets
Let's talk pets
on Pet Life Radio.
Pet Life Radio.
PetLifeRadio.com.
So, Deborah, you've been campaigning for cat overpopulation and, pushing people to neuter community cats and their own cats. But I know that you've also been working on other campaign like Double the Love, where you promote the benefits of getting a cat for your cat. Can we hear a bit about that? Because I love that.
Sure, that's exactly right. When we've gotten to the point in a lot of our advertising region where our live release rates are really good, I realize around the country that there's a lot of stress on shelters right now. Our area, the live release rates are really good. So we have tried to expand our message a little bit. And as we're heading into kitten season, which is the hardest time for shelters when you're talking about cats, we're telling the story of get a cat for your cat because there really are. Everybody who's a cat person knows this, right? That generally, not always, certainly not in my household right now, I literally have a baby gate because we do not get along in our household. But don't take that as what will normally happen. If you have the place for a kitten in your home, take 2 kittens. They'll play with each other. They'll groom each other. They'll keep each other busy. They'll love you just as much, but they'll love each other. It's just probably better for the household. Or in shelters, there's a thing called bonded pairs where there are 2 cats that for whatever reason, maybe they came from a long time home where their person died and they've lived together for 10 years and the shelter doesn't want to separate them. These are great cats to bring into your life. They're already friends. They love each other. They help each other. But it makes the life of the humans better, I think, when there are 2 cats. So yes, we are actively promoting. That's an adoption tactic. We also talk about fostering. The foster families for shelters are truly the angels. But we'll always go back to spay-neuter. There's something about that low-hanging fruit that we really like.
Yeah, speaking of double the love, so I have seen more and more cat rescues require you actually to adopt 2. So when I got my guy, Franklin, and I got him because I wanted an adventure cat, I also had to take his sister. Not because they were a bonded pair, but they require 2 cats to be the same age. And I can attest to that. Like having 2 is so much easier than 1 because Franklin he's nuts. And he would be attacking me instead of, he would want to pounce me instead of his sister. So I can attest to that. Everybody get 2 or 4 or 6 kittens.
No question. It really is better for the household. It really, truly is. So yeah, that's our current message in our social.
Can I ask you another question, speaking, since you're a banker as well? A lot of people leave their estates to animal welfare organizations. And I've seen this. And there's a big bank here that left a sizable donation to one of the big groups here, which really focuses more on dogs than cats. And the person who passed away was a cat person and specifically asked it to go to cats. But the person that managed the estate gave it to a more dog-centric. It was more well-known. It's very resourced. And so how does that work in banks? And how can somebody assure that their estate is going to an animal welfare group that is what they want it to go for? Does that make sense?
Yeah. Obviously, I don't know the specifics of this. And disclaimer, I'm not a lawyer, and you're definitely talking about a legal thing. But I've certainly been involved in these situations. And I would say that it comes down to the paperwork. When you do your estate planning, whether you set up a private foundation or something called a donor advised fund, which is where you set up a fund during your life and establish a pattern of giving to whatever organizations you really like, which is a good way to avoid what you just said because you establish a lifetime of history. Well, I always did the cat thing. Well, you can't just do the dog thing after I die. Or as probably is, I'm sure is more common to have a person die and a will or a trust say, I want a particular gift to go to a particular kind of group. Okay, one way to avoid what happened is to actually name the group. Obviously, the issue there is that if that group doesn't exist anymore, it's going to be up to the trustee or the executor to try to find an alternative. My guess is that the cat groups maybe weren't as resourced. That's my guess, that the
Yes.
executive or trustee thought it might not be money well used. They have to justify, if called upon, their decision. So that's just my guess. But you can name a group.
Okay. Yeah. In this case, the person left $2.5 million and she named a small cat rescue group.
Oh.
And actually, this cat rescue group is really well, and it was supposed to be designated for TNR. And this lady passed away, and the money ended up going to a big organization that, focuses more on dogs. And it might have gone to help spay neuter cats, which is what might have happened. But yeah. And so I was just wondering about that and how you can be really specific in leaving your legacy to the right group. And banks are critical in this. And I'm always wondering, like, how do bankers know? Like, they're solely just looking at numbers. Am I right?
No, I mean, again, I don't know this situation, but yes and no, it is their fiduciary duty. If a bank was, as I'm understanding, an executor or a trustee of this estate, it is their fiduciary duty under the law to follow the wishes of the grantor or the benefactor. And if they went against very specific instructions, then they must have, if this was a bank, I know banks, they must have had a very strong reason that, believe me, internal was the conversation of many meetings and many legal documents to say why they did it. And my guess is, if there's a rescue that's literally raising $50,000 a year or less, and they're given $2.5 million as a fiduciary, and frankly, in my bank, they probably come ask me because I know this world. I'd have a hard time myself signing off on that.
Really? Interesting.
I have my doubts, and I'm I'm literally picturing some that I know. They wouldn't know how to spend $2.5 million sustainably or effectively, in my opinion, some of the ones I'm thinking of. But my guess is they did do some homework. I'm just guessing. Banks really do have to follow whatever the words are.
Huh. This is interesting.
How to reason against it. And I certainly would with what you just said, but I don't know. Guessing.
Well, this has just been so enlightening, don't you think, Alex? Like, Deborah, you're amazing what you're doing.
Yeah,
Thank
you really,
you.
really are.
Thank you. It's an honor and a privilege to speak to you and to do the work that I get to do.
Well, in closing, do you have anything you'd like to say? Where can people reach you? How can they help?
GiveThem10.org. It's a great place to start. All of our stuff starts on GiveThem10.org. Please go take a look.
All right. Well, thank you so much. That is a wrap for this show. We're so excited to be doing this for all of you out there who are making life better for animals, just like Deborah. Do you have a question you want us to answer? Well, reach out to us on Instagram or Facebook under Whisker Media, and we're going to try to answer it in a future podcast episode. So, as we always say,
Bark loud and purr smart.
see you later, everyone.
Let's Talk Pets, every week on demand, only on PetLifeRadio.com.